Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk Fluent. We're so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening on your way to work, relaxing at home, or practicing your English during a coffee break, thanks for spending a little part of your day with us. Today's episode is going to make your English feel much easier because we're focusing on something incredibly powerful. Believe it or not, you don't need thousands of complicated words to sound fluent. Sometimes, just a few everyday verbs can completely change the way you speak.
Hey everyone, it's awesome to have you back. I remember when I first started learning another language. I thought I had to memorize giant vocabulary lists every single day. I'd spend hours studying words that I almost never used. Then I realized native speakers keep using the same common verbs over and over again. They just use them in different situations. That's when everything started making sense.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to show you today. We're talking about 9 simple English verbs that Americans use every single day. These aren't fancy words you'll only see in a textbook. These are the verbs you'll hear at work, at school, in restaurants, during phone calls, while texting friends, and even while watching your favorite TV shows.
The cool part is that once you understand how these verbs really work, your English will sound much more natural. Instead of translating every sentence in your head, you'll start speaking more confidently because you'll know how native speakers actually use these verbs in everyday conversations.
By the end of today's episode, you'll know several natural meanings for each verb, you'll hear real-life examples, and you'll learn expressions that Americans use all the time. You'll also avoid some very common mistakes that many English learners make.
Before we jump in, we've got a question for you. Which English verb do you use the most? Is it go, have, get, make, or maybe another one? Leave your answer in the comments. We'd love to know, and it's always fun seeing learners from all around the world practicing together.
And if you're enjoying these episodes and want to sound more like a native speaker every week, don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to Talk Fluent, and share it with a friend who's learning English too. Every new lesson is designed to help you speak naturally, instead of sounding like you're reading from a grammar book.
All right, grab your notebook if you like taking notes, or simply listen and repeat with us. Let's get started with our first group of powerful everyday verbs.
Let's begin with one of the most useful verbs in English, have. At first, you probably learned that have means to own something. For example, I have a car. That's correct, but native speakers use have in dozens of different ways every single day. The basic structure is simple, subject plus have plus object. For example, I have a meeting. She has a dog, they have 2 kids. Very easy, right? But now let's make it more natural.
Listen to these examples. I have breakfast at 7 every morning. We're having dinner with friends tonight. Can I have a coffee? She's having a hard day. He's having fun. Notice something interesting. In these examples, have doesn't always mean ownership. Sometimes it means eat, experience, enjoy, or even receive.
That's one of the biggest secrets to sounding fluent. Native speakers don't stop and think about dictionary definitions. They simply know the common expressions. For example, instead of saying, I eat breakfast, Americans often say, I have breakfast. Instead of saying, I experience difficulty, they'll simply say, I'm having a hard time. Those little changes instantly make your English sound more natural.
Here's another everyday conversation. What are you doing tonight? I'm having dinner with my parents. Oh, nice. Have a great time. Thanks. I'll call you later. Did you notice how have appeared twice with different meanings?
Exactly. Here's another tip. Pay attention to words that often go together. These are called collocations. English loves collocations. We say have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, have coffee, have a conversation, have a meeting, have fun, have a problem. Have an idea. If you memorize these phrases instead of learning single words, your speaking becomes much smoother.
Let's practice together. I'll say the beginning and you finish the sentence out loud. I usually have. Maybe you said breakfast, maybe coffee, maybe a meeting. Great. How about this one we're having? Dinner, a party, a class. Perfect. There are many possible answers.
Here's something funny. Years ago, one of my friends kept saying, I am eating a meeting.
Wait a what?
Exactly, everyone looked confused. He wanted to say, I'm having a meeting. It was a simple mistake because he translated directly from his own language.
We've all done that before.
Absolutely, that's why learning natural expressions is much better than translating word for word. Now let's move to another superstar verb, get. This little word is everywhere. The basic structure is subject plus get plus object. But get has many meanings. It can mean receive. I got an email. It can mean become. It's getting cold. It can mean arrive. What time did you get home? It can even mean understand. I get it.
Listen to these conversations. Did you get my message? Yeah, I got it this morning. It's getting late. You're right. We should go. Do you get what the teacher means? Yeah, now I get it. Native speakers use get constantly.
If you want to sound more American, start noticing how often people say get. get ready, get dressed, get married, get tired, get started, get better, get home, get there, get back. They're short, easy, and incredibly common.
Here's a challenge for everyone listening. Can you make a sentence using get? Maybe, I get home at 6, I'm getting hungry, I got a new phone. Say your sentence out loud first and then write it in the comments. We'd love to read it later.
Nice, now let's look at our third essential verb, go. Most learners know that go means moving somewhere. Subject plus go plus place. I go to school, she goes to work, they go home, easy. But once again, everyday English gives us much more.
Check out these examples. Let's go ahead, go for it, time goes fast, the lights went out, my phone went dead, business is going well. Wow, that's a lot more than simply walking somewhere.
Exactly, go appears in hundreds of natural expressions. If your friend is nervous before a job interview, you can say, go for it. If someone is waiting for permission, you say, go ahead. If you're leaving with friends, let's go. These are expressions you'll hear almost every day in America.
Let's imagine we're friends planning the weekend. What are you doing Saturday? I'm going to the beach. Nice, we should go together, sounds great, see how naturally go fits into casual conversation.
Here's another speaking challenge. Complete these sentences aloud. I usually go, maybe to work, to the gym, to bed early, or shopping. There isn't just one correct answer. The important thing is speaking confidently.
Now let's compare a few common expressions. Go home, go shopping, go running, go swimming, go out, go back. These combinations are incredibly common, so try learning them as complete phrases instead of separate vocabulary words.
Before we finish this section, let's quickly talk about negatives because they're just as important. Instead of saying, I have breakfast every day, you can say, I don't have breakfast on Sundays, instead of, I get home early. Say, I don't get home until 8, instead of, we go to the gym. You can say, we don't go during the weekend. Notice the simple pattern, subject plus don't plus verb. Very easy.
Now it's your turn. Can you say one negative sentence with have? Maybe, I don't have enough time today. How about get? I don't get many emails on weekends. And with go, I don't go out on Monday nights. Try creating your own examples. Then share one of them in the comments so everyone learning with Talk Fluent can practice together.
Remember, fluency doesn't come from using difficult words. It comes from using simple words naturally and confidently. Today we've already learned that have, get, and go are much more flexible than most learners realize. Keep listening for these verbs whenever you watch movies, YouTube videos, or TV shows. You'll start noticing them everywhere.
Let's do a quick recap before moving on. We learned that have is used for much more than ownership. Get can mean receive, become, arrive, or understand, and go appears in countless everyday expressions that native speakers use without thinking. Practice these 3 verbs every day and you'll already sound more natural. In the next part, we'll continue with even more powerful everyday verbs that can transform the way you speak English.
Let's keep building on what we've learned because these next verbs are just as powerful. If you can use them naturally, you'll notice a huge difference in your everyday conversations. The next verb is make. Most learners think make simply means to create something, and that's definitely one meaning. For example, I made a sandwich, or she makes beautiful paintings. But just like have, get, and go, this verb has many different uses. The basic structure is subject plus make plus object. That's the foundation. Once you're comfortable with it, you can start using make in dozens of everyday expressions.
Here are a few examples you'll hear all the time. I need to make a phone call. Let's make a plan. She made a mistake. Can you make some coffee? That movie made me laugh. You made my day. Notice how make isn't always about building or creating something with your hands. Sometimes you're creating a situation, a feeling, or even a decision.
Exactly, think about this conversation. My friend texted me yesterday and said, your message made my day. That doesn't mean my message built a new day. It means it made the person feel happy. Americans use this expression all the time. Here's another one, don't make excuses. That means don't invent reasons to avoid responsibility.
There are also common collocations that every learner should know. Make breakfast, make dinner, make money, make friends, make progress, make a choice, make a decision, make a reservation. When you learn these as complete phrases, speaking becomes much easier because your brain starts recognizing patterns instead of individual words.
Here's a quick challenge. Finish these sentences out loud. Tomorrow I'm going to make. Maybe dinner, maybe a phone call, maybe a plan. There are lots of correct answers. Now try this one. I made a mistake, a cake, a new friend at work. Perfect. The more you speak, the faster your confidence grows.
Here's something learners often confuse. They say, I did a mistake. Native speakers don't usually say that. Instead, we say, I made a mistake. It's one of those expressions you simply memorize because that's the natural combination.
That's such an important point. English isn't only about grammar. It's also about knowing which words naturally go together. Every language has these patterns. Now let's move to another essential verb. Take, most people first learn take as carrying something. Take your bag, take your phone, take your keys. Those are all correct, but everyday English uses take in many other ways.
Listen carefully, take a break, take a picture, take your time, take a shower, take a seat, I'll take it. Can you take this call? See how many different situations use the same simple verb.
One of my favorite expressions is take your time. Imagine your friend is choosing something from a menu. You don't want them to feel rushed. You simply smile and say, take your time. It's friendly, polite, and extremely natural.
Here's another everyday conversation. Should I answer the phone? Yeah, can you take this call for me? Sure, no problem. Or maybe you're traveling with friends. Let's stop here and take some pictures. Great idea. Again, these are conversations you could hear almost anywhere.
Now let's compare formal and informal English. Imagine you're in a business meeting. Someone says, please take a seat. That's polite and professional. Now imagine you're visiting a friend's house. Your friend might simply say, have a seat. Both are correct, both sound natural. The difference is the situation.
Here's another comparison. Formal, please take your time reviewing the document. Informal, no rush, take your time, same meaning, different style. Learning these little differences helps your English sound much more natural.
Let's do a quick speaking exercise. I'll describe a situation and you tell us which expression you'd use. Your friend looks tired after working all day. Would you say, take a break, or take a picture? Hopefully you said, take a break. Now imagine you're standing in front of a famous landmark. Would you say, take a picture? Exactly, you're already thinking in English instead of translating.
Here's another tip. Don't worry if you forget one expression today. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is becoming familiar with these patterns. Every time you hear one in a movie or podcast, it'll become a little easier to remember.
That's why repetition is so powerful. You've probably noticed that we're repeating the same verbs in different situations. We're doing that on purpose because that's exactly how your brain learns language. Instead of memorizing one definition, you're learning how native speakers actually use the verb.
Before we move on, here's a comment challenge. Choose either make or take and write one sentence in the comments. Keep it simple. Maybe I'm going to make dinner tonight, or I always take my dog for a walk. We read lots of your comments, and they're a fantastic way to practice.
Now let's continue with another everyday verb, give. This verb is simple, but it's incredibly useful. The basic pattern is subject plus give plus object plus person. For example, I gave my friend a gift. She gave me some advice. He gave us the address, very straightforward.
But just like the other verbs, give has many natural expressions. Give me a minute, give it a try, give someone a hand, give me a call, give me a chance, don't give up. These are expressions you'll hear almost every day.
I love give it a try. Imagine your friend says, I've never spoken English with a native speaker before. You could encourage them by saying, just give it a try. It's positive, it's friendly, and it's something Americans say all the time.
Here's another conversation. I'm nervous about tomorrow's presentation. You'll do great, just give it your best. Thanks, I'll try. That's a conversation that feels completely natural.
Here's another useful expression. Can you give me a hand? That doesn't mean you literally want someone's hand. It means, can you help me? Context is everything.
Exactly. Imagine you're carrying several heavy boxes. You might ask, can you give me a hand? Your friend immediately understands that you need help. No confusion at all.
Let's practice together. Finish these sentences aloud. Can you give me, maybe some advice, a minute, a call later, perfect, now try this one, don't give up. That's one of the most encouraging expressions in English.
And honestly, that's good advice for learning English too. Some days you'll feel confident. Other days you'll forget words. That's completely normal. The important thing is not to give up. Keep speaking, keep listening. Keep making mistakes because every mistake teaches you something new.
Before we wrap up this part, let's review our 3 new verbs. Make helps us talk about creating things, decisions, plans, feelings, and experiences. Take appears in everyday expressions like take a break, take your time, and take a picture. And give helps us talk about helping, encouraging, offering, sharing, and communicating with other people. The more often you use these verbs in complete phrases, the more natural your English will sound.
Today we've added 3 more powerful verbs to your English toolbox: make, take, and give. Along with have, get, and go, you're already building the vocabulary that native speakers rely on every single day. Keep practicing these expressions out loud. Write a couple of your own examples in the comments. And get ready because we're about to explore the final 3 essential verbs that tie everything together and make everyday conversations even smoother.
We've already covered 6 incredibly useful verbs, and now it's time for the final 3. These are verbs you'll hear in conversations every single day, whether you're chatting with friends, talking to coworkers, or watching your favorite American TV show. The first one is know. The basic structure is simple, subject plus no plus object. For example, I know the answer, she knows my sister, they know the restaurant. Easy, right? But native speakers use know in lots of different ways beyond simply having information.
Listen to these examples. I know what you mean. You know what? I don't know yet. Now you know. Good to know. As far as I know, the meeting starts at 9. These are all everyday expressions you'll hear constantly.
One phrase I love is, you know what? It's a natural way to introduce an idea. For example, you know what? I think we should order pizza tonight. Or, you know what? I'm finally going to start exercising again. It's casual, friendly, and very common in spoken English.
Here's another conversation. Do you know where the nearest coffee shop is? Yeah, I know exactly where it is. Great, can you show me? Of course. Notice how relaxed and natural that sounds.
Here's another useful expression. Good to know. Imagine someone tells you there's free parking behind a building. You can simply reply, good to know. It means, thanks for the useful information. It's short, natural, and something Americans say all the time.
Let's practice together. Finish these sentences. I know, maybe I know the answer, I know her name, I know what you mean, now try this one, I don't know, the address, the password, what happened, excellent. Short sentences like these are perfect for building speaking confidence.
Our next verb is think. Most learners first understand think as having an opinion. That's correct. For example, I think this movie is great. She thinks English is fun. We think you're doing an amazing job. The structure is subject plus think plus idea, simple and useful.
But think can also be used in lots of everyday expressions. Think about it. Think twice. I'm thinking of changing jobs. What do you think? Come to think of it. Those are all common expressions you'll hear in conversations.
Let's look at a real-life example. I'm thinking about buying a new laptop. Oh really? Which one? I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking about it. That's exactly how people speak in everyday life.
Here's another one. What do you think about this restaurant? I think it's fantastic. I've heard the food is really good. Let's try it. Very natural, very conversational.
Here's a tip that instantly makes your English sound softer and more polite. Instead of saying you're wrong, you can say I think there's another way to look at it. Or, I don't think that's correct. Using I think often makes your opinions sound friendlier.
That's especially useful at work. Imagine you're discussing an idea during a meeting. Instead of saying this won't work, you might say I don't think this will work because it'll take too much time. Same message, much more professional.
Here's another speaking challenge. Complete these sentences aloud. I think, I'm going to cook tonight. English is getting easier. This podcast is helping me. Great, now try. I'm thinking about learning another language, traveling next summer. Starting a new hobby. There are endless possibilities.
Remember, don't worry about making perfect sentences. The goal is to train your brain to think directly in English. Every sentence you speak makes you a little faster and a little more confident.
Our final essential verb is see. Most learners know see means using your eyes. For example, I see a bird. We saw a beautiful sunset. She sees her grandparents every weekend. But once again, everyday English gives this verb several additional meanings.
Listen carefully. I see what you mean. We'll see. Nice to see you. See you later. Let's see for yourself. These expressions are everywhere.
Imagine this conversation. I'm worried about tomorrow's test. You'll do fine. We'll see. That doesn't mean you're literally going to look at something. It means let's wait and find out. Very common.
Or maybe your friend explains a difficult grammar rule. Finally you say, oh, I see. That means now I understand. It's one of the most useful expressions in spoken English.
Exactly. Notice something interesting? Earlier we learned that get can also mean understand. For example, I get it. Now we have I see. Both can express understanding. Native speakers use both naturally depending on the situation.
Here's another conversation. I think I finally understand the difference. Oh, I see what you mean now. Exactly. Those expressions make conversations feel smooth and natural.
Let's practice. Finish these sentences. I see. A beautiful view. My best friend every weekend. Now try. We'll see. What happens if it works. How it goes. Perfect.
Here's another expression you'll use all the time. See you later. You can also say see you tomorrow. See you soon. See you next week. They're simple, friendly ways to end conversations.
Now that we've explored all 9 verbs, here's something important to remember. Don't try to memorize 50 meanings for each verb tonight. Instead, learn 3 or 4 common expressions. Use them during real conversations. Then gradually add more. That's exactly how native speakers learn their language.
Here's a simple 3-step plan. First, choose one verb every day. Second, learn 3 natural expressions with that verb. Third, use those expressions in real conversations or say them out loud several times. Small daily practice beats long study sessions once a month.
We have one more comment challenge before we move on. Choose your favorite verb from today's lesson. Maybe it's have, get, go, make, take, give, know, think, or see. Write one natural sentence using that verb in the comments. Don't worry if it's not perfect. We'll be excited to read what you write, and you're helping yourself become more confident every time you practice.
Before we move into the mistakes that almost every English learner makes with these verbs, let's review what we've covered. Know helps you talk about information and familiarity. Think lets you share opinions and ideas politely, and see can mean much more than using your eyes. It often means understanding or simply ending a conversation naturally. Keep speaking these expressions out loud, because real fluency comes from using English consistently, not from memorizing long vocabulary lists.
One thing we both want you to remember is that making mistakes is completely normal. Honestly, every language learner makes them. I know I did, and I'm sure you probably have too. The good news is that these mistakes are easy to fix once you understand why they happen. Today we're going to look at some of the most common errors learners make with the 9 verbs we've practiced.
Exactly, and don't feel embarrassed if you recognize one of these mistakes. In fact, if you've made one before, that's actually a good sign because it means you're using English. The more you practice, the more natural these verbs become. Let's start with a mistake that almost every learner makes.
Mistake number 1 is confusing make and do. Many learners say, I did a mistake. Native speakers don't usually say that. The natural sentence is, I made a mistake. Why? Because in English, we use make when we're talking about creating or producing something. A mistake is something you create, even if you didn't mean to create it.
Let's compare them side by side. Incorrect, I did a mistake yesterday. Correct, I made a mistake yesterday. Here's another one. Incorrect, she made her homework. Correct, she did her homework. Homework is an activity, so we use do, not make.
Here's a simple memory trick. If you're talking about work, homework, chores, or exercise, do is usually the right choice. If you're talking about a decision, a plan, a phone call, money, or a mistake, make is usually the correct verb. It won't solve every situation, but it'll help you most of the time.
Let's practice which one sounds right. I made a decision, or I did a decision. Hopefully you chose I made a decision. Now another one, I did my laundry, or I made my laundry. The correct answer is I did my laundry. Try saying both correct sentences out loud.
Mistake number 2 is translating directly from your first language. For example, some learners say, I'm eating breakfast with my family. Now that's not grammatically wrong. Native speakers absolutely say it when they want to focus on the action of eating. But in everyday conversation, you'll often hear, I'm having breakfast with my family. Using have in this way sounds very natural in American English.
Here's another example. Instead of saying I'm eating lunch with my coworkers, you'll often hear I'm having lunch with my coworkers. Both are correct. The second one simply sounds more conversational in many situations.
That's why listening is just as important as studying grammar. The more real English you hear, the more you'll notice these natural patterns. Instead of translating every sentence from your own language, start paying attention to the expressions native speakers repeat every day.
Here's a quick challenge. Which sentence sounds more natural in casual conversation? We're eating dinner at 7, or we're having dinner at 7. Most native speakers would naturally choose we're having dinner at 7. Of course, both can work depending on the context, but one sounds more conversational.
Mistake number 3 involves the verb get. Many learners only remember one meaning, receive, so they understand I got your email, but then someone says it's getting dark, and suddenly they're confused. That's because get has many meanings. It can mean become, arrive, understand, receive, or even obtain something. Understanding the context is much more important than memorizing one dictionary definition.
Compare these examples. I got home late. Here, got means arrived. I got tired after work. Here it means became, I got the joke. Now it means understood. Same verb, 3 completely different meanings. That's why context matters.
Instead of asking yourself, what's the exact translation? Try asking, what is the speaker trying to communicate? That small change in thinking can make a huge difference in your English.
Here's another practice activity. Listen to the sentence. I got hungry after the movie. Does got mean received? Number does it mean became? Exactly. Now try this one. I got your text this morning. This time got means received. Excellent.
Mistake number 4 is forgetting common expressions and trying to build every sentence word by word. For example, imagine someone wants to encourage a friend before an interview. Instead of saying, go and make your maximum effort, a native speaker would probably say, do your best, or simply, you've got this. Learning complete expressions helps you sound much smoother than translating individual words.
The same thing happens with give. Some learners say, can you help me? That's perfectly correct. But native speakers also love saying, can you give me a hand? If you translate that expression literally, it sounds strange. But everyone understands it means, can you help me?
Another example is I see. Many learners continue saying, I understand. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but when you're having a casual conversation, you'll hear, "Oh, I see," over and over again. Little expressions like these make your English sound relaxed and natural.
Let's practice with a few quick choices. Which one sounds more natural? Can you give me a hand? Or, can you give me your hand? The first one usually means, can you help me? The second one literally means you're asking someone to hold out their hand. Very different meanings.
Exactly, that's why learning English in phrases is so important. Every expression has its own meaning, and trying to translate every single word can sometimes create confusion. Don't worry if you've made these mistakes before. Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner, and every improvement starts with noticing one small thing at a time. Today you've already learned several natural expressions that you can start using immediately.
Keep practicing these 9 verbs every day, listen for them in real conversations, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every conversation is another chance to improve. The goal isn't to sound perfect, it's to communicate clearly, naturally, and confidently. That's exactly how real fluency develops.
Before we wrap things up, let's put everything you've learned into action with a quick speaking challenge. Don't just think about the answers, say them out loud. Speaking is how you build confidence. Ready, let's go.
Situation number 1, your friend asks, what are you doing tonight? Which answer sounds more natural? Option A, I'm eating dinner with my family. Option B, I'm having dinner with my family. If you chose option B, great job. Both sentences are grammatically correct. But I'm having dinner with my family is the phrase you'll hear more often in everyday American English.
Now try saying it yourself. I'm having dinner with my family tonight. Nice, change family to friends, coworkers, or my parents and say the sentence again. The more you personalize it, the easier it'll be to remember.
Situation number 2, your coworker asks if you understand the instructions. Option A, I see what you mean. Option B, I watch what you mean. The correct answer is option A. We use I see to mean I understand. It's one of the most common expressions you'll hear in daily conversations.
Let's make it a little more interesting. Imagine your teacher explains a grammar rule and suddenly everything makes sense. You can smile and say, "Oh, I see." Try saying that out loud. Doesn't it sound natural?
Situation number 3, your friend is nervous before a job interview. Option A, give it a try. Option B, take it a try. The correct answer is give it a try. It's a friendly way to encourage someone to do something, even if they're a little nervous.
Here's another expression you can use in the same situation. You've got this. Native speakers say it all the time to encourage friends before an exam, an interview, or a big presentation. Try saying both expressions. Give it a try. You've got this. Excellent.
Situation number 4, you're talking about something that happened yesterday. Option A, I made a mistake. Option B, I did a mistake. The correct answer is option A. Remember, we make mistakes, make decisions, and make plans.
Let's practice another one together. Say these sentences out loud. I made a new friend. I made a phone call. I made a decision. Perfect. You're building natural speaking habits one sentence at a time.
Last situation, your friend asks when you'll know the final results of something. Would you naturally say, I'll look, or we'll see? The best answer is we'll see. It means we'll find out later. It's short, natural, and used every day.
Here's your final challenge for today. Pick any 3 of the 9 verbs we've practiced, have, get, go, make, take, give, know, think, or see, and create one sentence with each of them. Say the sentences out loud first, then write them in the comments. It doesn't matter if they're simple. What matters is that you're practicing.
You can even challenge yourself by telling a short story using several of the verbs together. For example, yesterday I got home late, made dinner, had a quick meal, and then went to bed. That's real English. Short, clear, and natural.
And here's one more tip before we finish. Don't try to learn hundreds of new words every day. Instead, focus on using a small number of useful words really well. That's exactly what native speakers do. They rely on common verbs again and again in different situations.
If you practice these 9 verbs for just a few minutes every day, you'll start noticing them everywhere. In movies, podcasts, YouTube videos, songs, and everyday conversations. The more you notice them, the more naturally you'll begin using them yourself.
Today we learned that simple verbs can do a lot of work. We explored how have, get, and go are used in everyday conversations. Then we looked at make, take, and give, along with the expressions native speakers use all the time. Finally, we practiced know, think, and see, and discovered that they often have meanings that go far beyond their basic dictionary definitions.
We also talked about some of the most common mistakes learners make, why those mistakes happen, and how to replace them with natural English expressions. Remember, learning a language isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about communicating clearly and confidently.
We hope this episode helped you realize that becoming fluent doesn't mean using difficult vocabulary. It means becoming comfortable with the words native speakers use every single day. Keep practicing, keep speaking out loud, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every conversation is another step toward fluency. If you enjoyed today's lesson, don't forget to like this episode, share it with another English learner, and subscribe to Talk Fluent so you never miss a new lesson. We'd also love to hear from you, so tell us in the comments, which of the 9 verbs do you think you'll use the most this week?
Thanks so much for spending time with us today. Keep practicing a little every day, stay curious, and remember that every sentence you speak brings you one step closer to sounding natural and confident in English. Take care, keep learning, and see you next time.